Hey, what's up? It's Tiffany. Before we get started on this week's episode, please be sure to send us your requests at booshakalakapodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter X, BOOshakalakapod. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Instagram at BOOshakalakapodcast. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Booshakalaka podcast. My name is Snoop Dogg, and I'm joined with my co-host Pierre.
Hello, everyone.
You got nothing for us?
I got nothing for you. I got nothing for you. I can't. I have nothing.
Okay, I'll do it. Yes, I hated her so much. Flames, flames on the side of my face, breathing, breathless, heaving breaths, heaving. Thank you.
What the fuck is that?
It's from Clue.
I hate you.
I know you haven't seen it. I know you haven't seen it, but yeah, it was the one lady talking about how much she hated somebody. She's like, I hated her so much. So good. Anywho, hello everybody. We're still in April anthologies, and we are back with 2006's Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror. I don't care. You heard last episode. I asked him if he wanted to choose something. He said no. Here we are.
So, oh, did you sneeze? I thought you were just pausing for dramatic effect. So we start this movie off with a very, very, very well drawn I'll say anime intro.
Well, hold on 1 second. Let me do the synopsis. I'm so sorry. So this film consists of 3 different short stories, each set within the same inner city neighborhood, and which are presented within a framing narrative featuring Snoop Dogg as a local gang member turned spirit, responsible for deciding where those featured in the short stories will go in the afterlife.
And so we start off with this anime intro. And basically what happens is this gangbanger, he has a shootout with a rivaling gang. He ends up in the shootout. He actually does end up killing him, but in the shootout, a stray bullet accidentally hits his little sister. And so
bullet ain't got no name.
And so he's a disgrace, basically. And so he go walking. And I'm summarizing this to get to it to get through.
You gotta walk to clear his mind. So he ends up when he gets back home. So like you said, he's walking and he finds out that a little girl was shot, and that little girl turns to be his sister. So he's basically trying to, like basically fighting with himself. Like, it couldn't have been my bullet. Maybe it was the other guy's bullet. I couldn't have shot my sister. I couldn't have done it. And then out of nowhere comes this demon, and he tells him that, hey, I can bring my sister back to life, but only if I can bring your sister back to life, but only if you trade your life for hers.
Slit your throat.
Slit your throat. And the demon, bitch, I slit your throat. What was that on?
I think that was this movie.
No, it was all Scary Movie.
Bitch, I slit your throat?
Yep. He was like, the part where he was like, we went shopping. That part in the end.
Oh, okay.
I slit your throat. So Devin, who is the spirit, who is the guy, takes the knife and immediately slices on the throat. He's like, I want to bring my sister back. And I was like, okay, kudos to him. Everybody else had been like I said, a bullet ain't got no name. You've heard that before, right?
Yeah, but that name on it. Not about your sister. What the fuck?
Well, yeah. So he definitely gave up his life. So the demon's name is Lior, Liore, whatever. So he resurrects Devin because he's just like, I appreciate you doing that. You did what you were supposed to do, and you did it without any hesitation. Hey. So he sears a HOH on the back of his neck. And that is supposed to be the Hound of Hell, Hood of Horror, Hound of Hell, whatever, which one you want to say it.
HBIC.
And he tells Devin that he has granted him the ability to decide where people will go in the afterlife, and instructs him to use it responsibly. So now that was all a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're back in the real world, sorta. And Devin is now back dressed in all gold with two zombie fly girls of his own. Watch out, Leprechaun. And
The worst.
I don't know how much
Terrible,
weed
terrible intro.
Snoop smoked in this movie, but he was like he was just moving at
Why did they edit it
zero
like that
point
to where
zero
it
zero
was?
zero frames a minute.
Why did they edit that like to where it was all blurry? I was like, who the fuck did this?
And you can hear like this constant boom, boom, ch, 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 boom, boom throughout the entire movie. This is worse. Like I don't know who produced it. It must have been one of those guys that I knew.
I feel like this is one of the best ones. And so I just hate how I was like, what editor did that? That was such a terrible choice. So we our first story is crossed out.
We totally crossed out. We commence to make you jump, the mag that'll make you crisscross to make you believe it.
I know you don't think a white girl made that shit up. And then so we start off with Posey. And so we basically get the backstory of her. Basically, her mom was shot by a gang member in front of her. And after her mother was shot, the gang member ended up shooting himself. Very unsympathetic. And
no, it was her dad.
Oh, that was okay. So I guess the fact that he wasn't a gang is where she gets her vitriol from for gangs in general. And so she promises her mom at her grave, like, Mom, I'm gonna make these gang motherfuckers play. You know, they shot you in the pussy, and we're done with it. And so she's just very bitter. But she's very not bitter. I would say she's very hardened by that experience. And so we catch up with her, and apparently she does murals with spray paint. Anybody who's played the second Spider-Man game, So anyway, she's one of those kind of people.
Anybody who's ever played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas?
Did you have to tag in that?
You did. That was a mission at the beginning.
Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah. She's a tagger. She's supposed to be doing a mural for, I'm gonna say, the church or the community center.
No, for the pastor.
Yeah, and she ain't doing that shit because she all up in every damn alley but the parking lot. We don't see the parking lot to the end of the movie. And
she don't got no business being there either.
And so these three gang members, you know the names. I didn't write down anybody's names. I said gang.
So we have Fat
Cap,
Streako, and Nib
from the Brothers Garcia. And we you remember that show?
I remember the show, but I don't really remember the characters.
I'm done with you. And so they basically see her tag along their, I don't know, wall, their brick wall. Should I tag 90 tic tag name my stick back?
So she tagged over Fat Cap's tag. So she put Posey over that, and then they saw it, and
they was like, "What's this gay shit?" You know, this
motherfucking flowers. We don't like no flowers, bitch. We like shoot them up, bang bang, ho, and 40s.
Exactly. And just being very clear, this is how the dialogue is. I'll accept it because we've heard worse. And so they start spraying over it. You know, basically they're just like, oh no, we ain't with that gay shit. Little Nas X, be gone. And Posey walks up, and because she's from around the way, you know, she's Jenny from the block. You know, I used to live here. Who the hell are you? And so,
you know what? Sometimes when I have my hair like this, it reminds me of the time I was running around the block. You know, this crazy little girl just running around the block.
Nobody knows you, and so I don't know her. And
I don't know her.
And so Posey walk up like, what the fuck you doing to my tag, bitch? Like, she goes straight in. She don't care that they're gang members. She don't care that they carry guns. She's just like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, get the fuck up off here. And they like, bitch, who you talking to? And she's like, bitch, I'm talking to you. Like, very not scared. Like, I was like,
she said she called Streako, talk about, where'd you get that name from? A streak in your ass or a streak in your drawers or something like that. She don't give a shit.
Giving it to him, like reading. And so I want to say that this whole movie takes place in a very, very beautiful universe. Despite the fact that her mom died, ma'am, what are you doing? Like, there were just a lot of instances where I was like, girl, you're done for. And so, you know, they argue with her, and then they have two women with them. What do you want to call them? They're whores.
Hoochies.
And no,
ooh. Jezebel. No, I like hoochies. Let's go with hoochies.
And so, please tell me one of them is not Eva Mendes.
One of them is not Eva Mendes.
Okay, because I was like, she looks like Eva Mendes. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so she was still a video vixen at this time. And so,
right. Welcome
like,
to Miami.
yeah.
Bienvenido a Miami. Dancing in the club where the heat is on. So Fat Cap pulls out a gun to Posey, and Posey said, "I ain't no punk bitch. I'm not scared of you. Do what you got to do.
Still
I've
talking
seen
shit.
worse, ho."
Still
And
talking
then
shit.
she finally catches him off guard, and she sprays him in the eye with her spray paint can, and then she takes off running.
And they chase after her, and so
she does end up getting away.
Yeah, she ends up getting away, and she goes and hides. In the midst of hiding, though, she gets snatched like she would in the hood in a dark place. And so, she getting dragged and then she wake up all tied up. And basically what's happening is a demon has kidnapped her. A Mexican demon called Trump. And so
played by Machete.
Played by Danny Trejo. And so he starts basically, spitting to her. And it's crazy because even in this situation, again, this is a great universe, because if you had gotten kidnapped and she's talking about, I'll make this the greatest day of your life, cop a feel, bitch, you're tied up.
Cop a feel.
And no shade, there was no feel. So I'm just like,
oh, maybe she meant her booty.
I'm just like, ma'am, what? Like, you're tied up. He don't need your permission. But it's a great universe, so he don't want that from her. But he basically like, I like your style, I like your heart. Let me give you a little gift and let me see what you do with it, because you want to get rid of the gangs or whatever. So he gives her a beautiful it's not a sleeve. I'm just gonna say it's a palm, like a hand tattoo, almost a sleeve, and it's all like
a half sleeve, if you will.
Sit on it. And so so he gives her a half sleeve, and she wakes up and she's like, what the fuck's going on? So she don't think nothing.
Well, he tells her to behold the power that she now carries. So he's basically, like you said, he thinks she can do good for the community because she hates the trash down the alley. So so she wakes up, and like the room was initially lit up in candles and everything, and then when she wakes up, she's just under an underpass, like she's just outside, and she's like, okay. She looks at the tattoo, she's like, ooh, it's fucking cool. And I'm like, bitch, you ain't think to go see a doctor real quick? You might have got staph
infections and all. But no, she's just like, what? No, she don't say it's cool. She say it's tight. Oh, it's 2016, so we got
that jacket is tight, son. Now run that shit. Yeah, I mean.
I hate them. I'll never forgive them. And so she put on her jacket, and she had and she started doing some graffito. And she just starts Xing, like she goes to another fat clip graffito. Fat cap. And so she just sprays an X on it. That's all she does. In the meantime, what's happening is the three Jones brothers, they have some hoochies, and one is dancing with some hoochies, and then he like, hey, hoochie, the fat cap is like, hoochie, come in here with me. I got money. And then she go with him, and it's just, this is so terrible. And so they start making out, he rubbing all up on her. And then this is when the critiques come in. Because she making out with him on his lap, and then the money behind him, she tried to take it and run. Girl, what the?
You're supposed to take it if you leave him satisfied.
What is your end game here? I'm like, you thought you was gonna be able to just run, like with the money,
right?
She didn't even do it sly and like she just snatched it. I'm like, girl,
she might as well have said, hey, I'm gonna take this money from behind your back, bitch.
So he grabbed her, throw her against the wall. And so this is when we get into rapey, because of course he's a gang member. He has no morals. And so he's like, oh yeah, I got something. Because he hit her in the mouth, she's bleeding. So he's like, oh yeah, I got something to put in your mouth. Keep it real. You can get real wet and slippery. You're not putting blood on my penis, bitch. And so and so,
like, what if she had some kind of infection? I mean, you're putting blood there's
I can't do it.
Disgusting.
Ugh. And so he starts unzipping his pants, but he can't really quite get them unzipped. So he tugging on his zipper, tugging on it. I could have sworn you could just pull your pants down. but anyway, and so in the midst of him pulling it too hard, he has a gun in his pocket. The gun goes off, and when the gun goes off, he shoots the tip of his penis off. So his uncut penis falls to the floor, and so does he, and how he is dead.
He's gonna bleed out.
Rest in peace to Bethany. And so
Posey's now over at the pastor's office, and he's
finally,
like, Posey, you gonna paint this mural or Billy D. Williams? Let me tell you something stupid I did. I'm like, what's Billy D? What's the D stand for in Billy D. Williams? It's Billy D.E.E. Williams. But his real name is William December Williams Jr.
That's cute.
I was like, it's almost, what would Jesus do? So she's there. She's asking him to create the mural for the neighborhood on the wall of the local high school. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to get around to it. I just ain't had no time. She like has like a little tit for tat with, I guess, the president of the pastor and says like some really vulgar things to her. I'm like, come on, Posey, calm down, girl.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, the devil came and he what did she say? The devil came and made me stick my fingers in my Gucci. I was like, oh my God. Not you doing that to the lady from Hangover.
You over here sounded like, Reagan from The Exorcist. It was just, it just wasn't called for. It was kind of weird why she did that.
It made me mad just because I like that actress. Not up in here.
So while there, she finds out that Fat Cap was dead, and then we have another flashback she has a flashback of her father killing her mother, and then he dips his finger in her mother's blood and spells out Cap in the blood. So I'm a little confused on that. But so after she like immediately
wait, hold up. He say, just like your finger painting, just a sadistic ass bitch. Like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, the dad did say that. In blood, just like, like when you finger paint, sweetie.
What the fuck? I'm laughing because that lady's the same lady in Pineapple Express who said, "Oh, big sexy with glasses."
Is she the one in Bad Boys 2 with that stupid part where they were in the video store?
Oh no, that's not her. No, that's not her. I thought you was about to say, she was the one. Do you remember the movie with Martin Lawrence when he was like being with the cop and she was like, "Didn't your mom ever teach you any manners? The least you could do is ask me nicely," and she kept slapping him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that National Security?
Thank you. Jesus, I did not know the name of that movie.
That movie was so stupid, but it was funny at the same time. It's got nothing on Blue Streak though.
Hello. And so
she realizes. I don't know how, but how does she realize that she already has the power like that fast?
Well, because when she goes into, so his parents come out. Now she of course don't know his parents because he's a gang member. And so he was explaining to her, oh, the parents just left, their son. And he was like, "Did you know him?" Because he used the government name. And it's like, I don't know him. I know Fat Club. So he was like, he used to go by, and she was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, he just, he got shot." And she was like, he said like how he got shot, and she was like, what did she say? She said a pun, like a nasty sex pun. She was like, he shot his clit off, something nasty. And so that's when she looked at her hand, and then she put two and two together.
Okay.
And so this is some dumbass shit right here. And so the other two gang members. Okay, so I don't even know how to describe this. Like, one guy looked like Terrell Owens, and then the other dude is just a skinny Mexican guy. And so he's just like, "Hey, I'm about to run to the store. You want some?" He's like, "Nah, man, but I'll be here when you get back." And so, and they're mourning their friend. So he wants to go basically buy a 40 to pour it out for him, for his homeboy. And so he go down to the store, Young Miami up in his joint, and he go down to the store. And so he like, all of a sudden you hear a bunch of shots. This motherfucker come running down the street.
Do you know how much a 40 would have cost in 2006? It couldn't have been no more than like $1.99, $2.
How much is it now?
$3.99. I don't know. I don't drink 40s.
I can see you doing it. And so
Sane ass.
So he go running down the street. He got the 40 in his hand. Don't got no kind of donuts or cakes and shit. You really robbed the store with a gun for a 40? Like, God. I mean, smart criminals. And so he come running up, and the dude like, what the fuck? Like, You ain't have a dollar?
$3.59 for a 40 ounce of St. Ides malt liquor
So
in 2024.
you could have bought that with a $5 bill and still got some menthol. And so
St. Ides.
so yeah, so he like, yeah, you know, I ain't
So
paying
he
for
goes.
shit.
Stop it. He goes back to Nib. So that was Strico that robbed the convenience store, and Nib is like, "Are you an idiot? You could have asked me for $5, to get a 40. Man, it don't even fucking matter. I do what the hell I want to do. I do what I want. I do what I want." And he pours out the liquor, and he's like, "I really miss my homie, even though you're gone away. I know
I
you're
like to.
in a better place, and I hope to see you soon one day." Uh, shout out to Master P. So so then you hear the police, because the police, they just camp out in the hood. They ain't got nothing else better to do. They got to get their numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
And so he pours it out the beer by Fat Cap's tag, and he starts to drink. The sirens go. Nib is like, bye. They both kind of Nib and Strico split off, and they start running. And then you could
So
say how he dies.
hey, why do you want me to do it? So Strico, he go to turn and run. Now remember, y'all, he poured the 40 out. He poured the 40 out. And so he go to run. So he slipped in the 40. Mind you, he poured it on concrete. I've never seen this happen before. I have never seen this happen before. He slips on the liquor that's on the concrete and then falls on top of the bottle, and the bottle go through his fucking head. At this moment, this is when I said, let me text Tiffany, fuck you real quick. Because she's not about to play with my feelings. And
But he didn't.
and so it was late. And so
Okay.
yeah, so he's dead as a doornail. And so Posey realizes what the fuck she doing. She knows she got the power. The power is yours.
But,
I don't know where that's
wait,
from. Where is that?
Captain Planet.
Okay.
So she goes to the mural where she's supposed to paint the mural. She looks at it and then walks off and goes and crosses out some more tags.
Yeah. And so at this point,
so his Nib is next on the list.
Yeah, and so she's just very gloating and everything. And so this part, this is when I was like, I don't even feel like he deserved it, because though he was part of the gang, he was never like
he seemed more like a follower.
Yeah, but he's like the one that you can like reform, like especially now that the other two are dead. Like I don't feel like he's just so, but he sees that his friend died. He sees his dead body, and so he goes running to the payphone to call the police. Again, he's not a gang member because what? We don't call the police in the hood. And so in a 228 coastline. And so and so
Blue 5. Wait, not that's for real. Not that one. What is it? Oh, they don't even say anything before it on Bring It On.
Yeah, no, it's
but usually that's what they say at Howard. HU,
I hate you so much. Tiffany gets around. And so he got the payphone. And so she goes to his name and she starts spraying it, of course. And all she's doing is X's. She's not even being fucking creative. He trying to call the people, and all of a sudden he start itching. I'm like, what the fuck is about to happen? I literally looked to my phone, look back up at the screen. Why is the fucking cord from the payphone wrapped around his neck? And it's just squeezing tighter and tighter and tighter, and then and I'm just like,
it ripped his head off, but so slow. Like it wouldn't have exploded like that with the slow ass pull of the cord.
You can tell they just wanted to be graphic, because I was like, why couldn't he just be strangled? Why Snoop Dogg? Why couldn't you give that to us, Snooper? Snoopy?
I don't know. So Posey's going around, and you just see her marking X's on several tags, and then we have like cut scenes where the pastor is talking to families, more and more families coming out. Because apparently he's the only church in town.
Do you notice that every single one of these gang members has two parents? I thought that was funny, because that's the stereotype is, oh, you don't have a dad at home, you don't have a mom at home, but they all had two parents. So I'm like, well, how did you get into this?
Yeah. So now Posey finally goes back to the mural where the mural is supposed to be, and then she just writes her name. So Danny Trejo's character shows up, and he's like, I can't believe what you've been doing. You are supposed to use your power to draw things that would help this community and not kill people. So she could have drawn food. She could have drawn, she could have been like, you remember when Meteor Man planted all those vegetables in the hood? She could have did
the example. Okay, yeah.
But no, she could have. There's so much more she could have done, and she didn't even. She just kept wanting to get revenge when there really was only person she really needed to get revenge on was Fat Cap because he held a gun to her.
Yeah.
Everybody else was just talking shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, Danny Trejo takes he does and he takes the tattoo off of her hand, and she look up and she's like, "Oh shit!" And we see the ghosts of Fat Cap, Strico, and Nib, and they grab Posey and they push her up into the wall, and then Strico comes up and impales a spray can through the top
Mm-hmm.
of her head. So he
I
got
didn't.
impaled. He impales her.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I get the
Whenever,
message, but I don't like
whenever,
that the people who tormented me and like I don't what the, how do they get to
whenever I see a woman being attacked by a bunch of men, I don't care what she did. It just makes me uncomfortable.
yeah, it was like I was like that's not but uh, uh, you could I don't know. I would have rather that him just did it with magic than them three come up because it's
Yeah.
like they were not innocent in this. So why yeah, that part threw me off. And so basically her story ends, she gets used and then we go to back to cartoon. So every time anyone like the
So
character
you missed the last little part. Your last little part. So the next morning, the pastor,
oh shit. Damn, yeah.
believing that she finally did what she was supposed to do, he pulls down the tarp and it shows a flower mural to the congregation, and
Okay.
unbeknownst to anyone, it is actually made of the blood of it's Posey's bloody remains that created the flower. So she became a part of the art, that she was supposed to draw, and now she did.
Yeah, and they just think she just moved on, and I'm like, God, this is a
Yeah,
terrible
they thought she
community.
just left town.
But the mural looked fucking terrible, y'all. Y'all need to understand it. Like it looked like blood. I was like, are they being sarcastic? Because this shit looks like a murder scene. Like she just painted a bunch of red roses, and y'all happy about it. Y'all about to. That's why your community is trash because y'all have no taste. And so yeah, so then the cartoon happens. You see her, just animated. She gets dragged to hell, and that's basically that.
What do we rate Posey?
Damn, I want to give it a 7.
What?
A 7.
5.5.
I also know that girl from One Tree Hill. So I mean, so I was like, I see a lot of actresses in this that I know, and I'm like, oh, I know you from here. So, but yeah. So yeah, she was the gay girl from One Tree Hill. So yeah, I give it a 7 because I thought it was a cute story up until it didn't make sense. But it wasn't it was not as bad as Trilogy of Terror, y'all. So anyway,
oh my God, I played that back and I was screaming so loud.
It was
I had to turn it down.
We were screaming continuously. I was like, now we just going.
I had to turn it down, and I was cracking up at myself with Bobby.
And it's extra mayo for me, please. And so,
scrumptious. So the next episode is called The Scum Lord. Okay, and I'll let you take this one.
This pissed me off the most.
Agreed. 100% agree.
Like, I felt this one. This one felt different. I did not like this. Not that it was bad. I didn't like, you know what I'm saying. And so we get introduced to Tex Jr. and Tiffany. And just like the Tiffany here, she's a white woman. And she and Tex and Tiffany are racist. And like the very overt, like Mississippi kind of racist. Like they very, very clear, bitch, we don't like you. But basically Tex Jr. is the son of the former landlord of a building that has tenants who are all Black veterans. And so, and he was basically a good guy. And so, because he was a war veteran.
He was their commanding officer.
Yeah. So he was taking care of them. And so he actually he killed his dad, which we find out. He actually ran him over with a fucking car, like brutal shit. Like, damn. And so because he wanted to inherit everything and then realized, well, this is what he had. And so, they go in thinking they're going to make a killing by upping the rent and doing all this kind of stuff. So he introduces himself to the black people and he making all these
so
race.
there's a little more reasoning to it. So after he kills the dad and they basically were saying he died mysteriously, he goes
Mm-hmm.
to the dad's will reading and the dad says, in order to receive your share of my inheritance, you have to spend 1 year living with these veterans
Mm-hmm.
who were his battle mates. And then he's like, okay, well then all the money will go to me once they die anyway, so I might
Mm-hmm.
as well not even do this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they're at the house.
Mm-hmm. And so he rubs everybody the wrong way. And then he's like, oh, yeah, we're taking the upstairs bedroom. And so one of them was like, hey, that's my bedroom. He's like, oh, y'all gonna have to bunk together because this is our
Mm-hmm.
shit. And so they go up there and they go fuck. Like, it's just.
Ugh.
So basically, what they're doing is they also decide that they are back because he wasn't charged because his dad was not charging him the full rent. They're back pay. They owe him
Mm-hmm.
back pay. And so he's like, in order to work that off, and Tiffany over there chiming in with her bitch ass, y'all know construction? He's like, we're all former carpenters, bitch. Jesus. And so
Literally.
they make them like renovate the room, paint it pink and all this kind of stuff. Mind you, one of these men is in a wheelchair and he's very ill.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but they do it because, I mean, basically he's like, you either do it or you get the fuck out or you pay me the money. They have no choice really. And it's very unfortunate. Mm-hmm. So, who shows up next? Jungle Julia Lukai.
Mm-hmm. From Death Proof.
Yeah, Death Proof. With your feet on the dashboard. Do not put
Death Proof.
It's so good. Do not.
I love that fucking movie.
Yes. See, that could be a thriller. We need to do that one day. But yeah, don't put your feet on the dashboard.
Just come on, motherfucker, come on.
I can't. What she say? I can't let you go without tapping that ass. Oh my god, that.
Whenever I see her, do you watch 911?
Okay, yes, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Whenever I see her in 911, I'm like, this isn't you. You're supposed to be out driving somebody Thunderbird.
Right, like, come on now, bitch. Like the what? Ugh. God, so good. That was a good movie. That dialogue is amazing.
And it doesn't get as much praise that it should.
No, but I think I don't think the whole. I don't know. I don't know if it was the way it was released because I don't think I've ever seen Planet Terror, but I don't know.
It's gross. Planet Terror is gross. It's like body horror.
Okay.
Because people are like basically, like some kind of alien came down and people are infected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why it doesn't get the recognition it deserves because it was very.
I don't know. I watch it at least once a year. I love it. So Nurse Wanda shows up, even though we've said so many other movies that she's been in, and
the hair.
So the vets are downstairs listening to I don't know Otis Redding, and Wanda shows up. She's a nurse and she starts dancing with them, and you can see that she really loves them. And so she's Steven's nurse, the one that's in the wheelchair. And then Tex and Tiffany come downstairs, and he was dancing like a white tee, a white tee, a white tee. If you black, nothing for you. Yeah, he was dancing terribly. I couldn't.
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, he's disgusting.
He's really gross.
Yeah, and he like low key start flirting with her in front of Tiffany, and Tiffany do that shit that the fucking wives of the slave masters used to do, being all bitchy towards her. No, check your motherfucking man. And so yeah, and so basically, like and so she's just like, what the fuck going on here? But she tries to be pleasant, even though he's being disgusting and quite rude. I feel like he said something racist to her too. He says so much racist shit. I started having to black it out.
Basically, like he wants some black poontang.
Okay, yeah. Look, how Freddie, how sweet, dark meat.
So now that he's monitoring their bills, he's hoping that they'll starve to death.
Because he's only paying them $5 an hour, and she does all the cooking, and there's no food. They're literally hoarding everything.
And he's not even paying the heating bills. He's not even paying for the heat. Yeah.
Which is causing what's his name? It starts with an S. Steven to get even more sick. And so they're like, we can just leave. They have this conversation in their little beds, and they're like, we can leave, but he's like, they'll split us up, and I would rather die than split up from y'all, which is very beautiful. The fact
But I
that they're
feel
that
like
close.
Stephen could have went to the VA and got some help and came back home.
We're gonna trust our black
Okay,
elders
so
and
this
whatever they
part, Wanda gets them a cake, and I'm gonna say it's for Juneteenth because why the fuck
why
did
the
they have a cake? They had
Fourth
a
of July?
cake
Well, no,
for the Fourth of July.
to be fair, I mean, even black army men are like that. Like, with them American flags, they're like they're
Okay,
patriots. So
I don't
that's why
know.
I give it. That's why I didn't, because I was like, well, it makes sense because they're like, I serve my country, and so they child.
They were singing, but they were singing "America the Beautiful" over a Fourth of July cake.
They should now see that because it was Snoop Dogg produced. They should have been singing the Black National Anthem. We know the controversy that just got. So they should have been singing that. I would have loved if they had sang that.
Agreed. So Tex comes downstairs and he tells the guys that he has news for Wanda and he wants to talk to her, and the guys are like, no, you don't need to go up there and talk to him, and she's like, no, it's okay, I can handle myself because I got a bone to pick with them anyway. So Wanda goes up and she's like, Steven's getting sick, the guys aren't eating, you need to fix this, you need to do that, and immediately rapey. All three stories have some like rapey culture in it.
I know, and it was so hard to watch, especially that shit where the woman sits there and watches, like she's sitting up there like on the bed, like, yeah. I'm like, I did not like that.
They needed worse.
So he basically is like, oh, you want them to get everything, then you got to fuck me. And she's like, no. But then, of course, he grabs her. He holds her down on the bed. And so we think it's about to get very, but it gets even worse. So basically, Tiffany grabs a pillow and fucking suffocates her.
Yep. She said, I'll call the cops. And she's like,
yeah.
He's like, baby, do you want to go to jail?
Hell no. And so very God, fucking pumpkin looking ass bitch.
So Tiffany, so they kill Wanda and Tiffany throws on Wanda's scarf, and they're probably kind of similar in skin tone because Wanda's very light, and she runs down the stairs and runs out the door. So the vets think that Wanda left, and they're like, hey, Wanda, you don't want any cake? And she runs out the door. I gotta go. And she runs out of the door, and we see that it was Tiffany. So later that night, Steven's condition is getting worse. You see him coughing up blood, and Roscoe who is Ernie Hudson's character goes up and tries to confront Tiffany and Tex, and then when he gets up there, he sees that the dog that they own has been eating caviar as they starve. And she's like, oh, that's Poofy. He's not a foofy. He's a man. Foofy. Caviar.
He interrupts them about their fucking, by the way. The worst.
Oh my God. What song were they listening to? Oh, hit and done, Cotton Eye Joe. I've been here there a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? And he's like, and she's just like,
So literally not like unfazed. It reminded me of Scream Queens. And so he go up there, he confront them, and he like, y'all need to get y'all shit together. And so he leaves the room. He like, whatchamacallit, Tex kicks him out. He leaves the room, and then he goes down to go basically get the food for himself. So he gets some, what do you call those, bolt cutters, and so he like unbolts the freezer so he can get the fruit for them. Lo and behold, that's where they stored Wanda's body. So she there, dead, frozen, and he's like, oh my fucking gosh, like now she about to get real. To add insult to injury, by the time he gets back to the room, Stevens is dead. So they're like, all right, yeah, y'all ready for this? It's time to go to war.
You hear dun 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 dun. Like when Icebox came out to the field on Little Giants.
She's not a cheerleader. She's my niece Becky, and she's pissed.
Call me Becky. Call me Icebox. Some of my favorite quotes.
Really? Mine was, Spike don't play with girls. Didn't you hear?
A pitch to Johnny? You can't pitch to Johnny. I'm Johnny. Wait, what was my other one? I use these for acid and digestion. So what are we going to use them for? Intimidation.
These movies should not have been this good.
That is literally my favorite sports movie.
That was, God, I'm not gonna get on my Not gonna get on my crushes, but
hands. I had no crushes.
That's why I love Chucky so much. Devin Sawa had me in a chokehold in my childhood.
Junior.
Yes, I don't know what like.
What was the other favorite? Oh shit, I can't think of it. But that, so many. Yeah, so many. So many.
Oh wait, is it Giants? Giants, help us, God! Is it that one?
I'm gonna score a touchdown! I'm gonna score a touchdown! And then the mom was like, "Get him, Jake! Woo, 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 woo." Okay, this is going on far too long. Let's get back to Snoop Dogg Said a Horror. Okay. My bad, y'all.
Okay.
So it's time for war. They're ready to do what they got to do, and so the next thing we see is Tiffany tied up. No. We see Tex tied up under the sink, under the pipe in the sink, and it's basically time for some water torture because, of course, they were in the I guess they were in the Vietnam War, and that was a thing. So they do that, and after they
all these ghosts, which I didn't understand the point of that.
I don't know. I guess you get so close to death during waterboarding. So then they go up to the room. They take Tex up to the room, and we see Tiffany lying on the bed, tied up. And it looks like she's 8 months pregnant at this point.
Yes, and so what they've been doing is force feeding her caviar. But I was like, how long has it been? Because then, and she's like farting and bloated. And he's like,
help, Tex, help me, baby.
And he's like, you let yourself go. It's terrible. And so
it's so fucking dumb. But even though she's tied up, she still finds the time to call them coons. Like they don't.
The racism never stops. Are you crazy? There's always time for racism. And so they give Tex the opportunity to decide who lives and who dies. And so he's like, you let yourself go, bitch, you can die. And so they have a feeder of caviar. And so they take it, they put it over her, and she just keeps eating and eating and eating. And then she explodes. And then they let the dog out the cage and the dog goes and eats her. That's some shit right there. I feel like there was a pun in that, but damn it, I don't remember it. And so, and so they kill her. And so I guess Tex thinks he's going to make it, but they push his ass out the door and they about to push him down the stairs. And so he's like, no, I'll do anything, I'll do anything. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. What the fuck did they say to him, Tiffany? Because I do not remember.
I didn't.
It's some sort of, hasta la vista, baby. And they
have a nice trip.
And they push him down the stairs. And so he's in a wheelchair. So he rolls back, and he had bought, with their money, he had bought this horn, looks like the fucking Texas Longhorns thing.
So it was it's what he had on his car when he hit his dad.
Oh, okay. And so he like rams into it. It goes to his skull. He's dead. And so yeah, they got their money back. The vets got their money back, and they hold a Christmas party in honor of Stevens, and they ended up keeping Pootie, which was a dog. I called him Foofy, but they ended up keeping Pootie, and then so that's the end of that story. And then Snoop Dogg, Devin's character, comes in with a small man, with a his Hound of Hell or whatever, and no
this
reason.
part was just
for no reason.
Control.
For no
Pootie
fucking reason.
Pootie runs up, and then Devin pulls a gun out of nowhere and pops the dog, and he said, "I said no pets."
Like, what the fuck?
I guess he became the new landlord.
And then the little guy. Wait, no, I'm sorry, no, because his name is fuck. I know his name because I wrote his name down because I thought it was goddamn ridiculous. His name is, what is it? Pint. It's Half Pint. And so Half Pint is like, Devin, and he's like, hold on. He's like, Devin, and he's like, hold on, little homie. So then he just throws up in the punch bowl. I
guess he can't pee. He's just got to puke.
But I don't know what was the reason. Like,
they could have kept the wraparound stories. They could have started with the beginning one, which was fine, and the last little bit. They didn't need anything in between.
Because I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? So anyway,
the last episode is called Rhapsody Askew.
And it was fucking askew.
Wait, so the first part of the video, or I'm sorry, of the segment, we see Lamar Odom and Method Man give at the Living Room Awards, giving an award to an aspiring hip hop rap artist named SOD, which is an acronym for Succeed or Die. What is
Mhm.
Lamar Odom doing giving out hip hop awards?
This was before he got married, so
Mm-hmm.
really, what the fuck? I
I
didn't
mean,
even
he
know
was a
we
good
were taking.
basketball player.
I'm the only basketball player who would have done this movie, and so the rapper SOD is played by Derwin Davis. Melanie is not with him at this point. Um, so he is walking the brown carpet, the same carpet Sukiyana was on, and so Snoop Dogg is actually on the carpet, and I guess he's an interviewer in his spare time. And so he's like, I'm sorry, not Snoop Dogg, we'll call him Devin. And so he's like, hey, you got some words, and he's like, man, I'll talk to you when I win. And I was just like, oh wow. And so Snoop was like, oh bitch, fuck you. And so then he explains, like, there's always like when you climb high, there's always a price, that kind of thing. Very ominous.
Mm-hmm.
And
So he
so,
probably could have avoided all of this if he was nice to Snoop Dogg's character,
right.
which
But
is
then
crazy.
again, this is when shit gets weird, which is why I agree with you with this wraparound story was weird. So they go to this Escalade. And so the driver's like, hey, he's like, you can have one for the top and I'll take one for the back. And so Snoop gets into the Escalade limousine in the back. And then in the front, the driver's getting head and shit. And Snoop's just talking. This is where they lose. Like, what
I
was
guess they have to collect. I think they have to collect bodies. I don't know. So he entwined himself in the beginning of the Rhapsody Askew
Mhm.
episode. So we see the episode starting, and then we go to a little bit of the wraparound. I'm like, what? Huh? But
Yeah.
anyway, back to what we need to be talking about.
So yeah, so
So as
basically, do you want to just
yeah,
start with their origin? So Derwin is in church and he praying to God. Why was his ear bleeding? And so he's praying to God and he's like, God, I promise I'll change. I promise I'll be a better person if you just let my rap career succeed. I promise, I promise, I promise. He's just making all these false promises to God. Like fucking Charles Barkley in Space Jam. I'll never go out with Madonna again. Shut your ass up. And so then a ball gets thrown through the church window. Fucking hoodlums. And so he go outside like, what the fuck? And so he immediately runs into a fatter Aries Spears. And so he's like,
he
hey,
was looking
what the
bad.
fuck? I know. I was like, wait a minute. This had to be after Mad TV because goddamn,
His
boy, you
face
didn't
was
look like.
so dark.
Mm-hmm.
He was very unhealthy.
But talking about Lizzo. And so he's like, who the fuck are you? He's like, who the fuck are you? I'm Darlene's cousin. So he's like, I'm Darlene's cousin. Who the fuck are you? And so basically, they just instantly become friends. He's like, you're a rapper? Oh, I'm a rapper. What's your name? My name SOD. My name Quan. And so they just take off and they have this amazing career together. However, like the town women, they have issues.
Yeah.
And so basically the issue is SOD. The promise that he made to God, he does not keep. We're gonna get into that a little bit later, but just know he full of shit. So there are a lot of flashbacks in this, so we're gonna have to skip back and forth to the future.
Yeah, so when he met Quan, that was a flashback. So we're back to present day, and we see SOD has won the award, and he thanks his mom. He's like, I wouldn't be shit without Quan. Those are the God that got me to where I am now. So he's walking back to his dressing room, and there's this guy, and he's like, SOD, you ain't shit without Quan. You should have died instead of him. And SOD, you hear that motherfucker? Rah, 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 rah. So he pissed, he mad. And it's just like, calm down. Like, why would you get so mad? So it's like immediately like, did he have something to do with this?
And so they go to
the dressing room.
That girl.
The
girl, they go
hallway.
to the dressing. They go, let me climb back in my closet upstairs, okay? They go to a closet. They got a charcuterie board and they drinking apple cider, acting like they got this big party going on. Like,
it was too many people in there.
I know it was hot. I know it was hot.
No, it wasn't, because it was wide open on the other side where the cameras were. So it wasn't hot in there. Come on, think about it. It's a movie.
You're an asshole. And so they up in there fake partying, and he like, show me your titties, girl. He rubbing all up, like he's so like it just didn't look fun. I don't know. It just looked very awkward, very. And so basically, somebody knocks at the door. Wyatt, and he like, who at the fucking door? And so he go and answer the door, and it's Karen. And so Karen is, I believe her name is Claire in the movie. And so Karen,
Yeah, Clara.
yeah, yeah. And so, or is it Paloma Diamond? And so she roll up in there, and all of a sudden everybody disappears. Like he don't see nobody. He's like, what the fuck is going on? So she sit down, she have a seat, and she like, look, bitch, I gotta talk to you about some shit because you ain't keep your promise to God. And that's strike number one. And so she gets on there's a TV in there, which I thought was very innovative. And so she starts flipping through memories on TV. And so the first memory we see is him and Quan basically meeting with studio execs. And they're trying to get their deal off the ground. And this bitch over here talking about, oh, I need some jewelry. I want to be iced out.
A Benz, jewelry, shopping spree, all of that. That's what he wants to talk about.
Like, what the fuck is this?
Like about the music.
Like, yeah, this sounds like some Nickelodeon shit. Remember when Nickelodeon used to have that contest where you could go in the store and you had an hour to grab as much stuff as you could put in the basket and you get to keep it all? Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And so he storms out because he's like, they're not giving what he wants. And so Quan smooths it over. He's just like, he's trying to be an actor and blah, blah, blah. So you see that instantly that SOD is arrogant. He's very ditty. And so, and Quan was like the compassionate one, the business savvy one. He understood, he was probably the better rapper.
No, he was the better rapper because the execs say, you know what, how about we just sign you? And he's like, no, this is a combo deal. I can get SOD to work with us. And they end up, becoming a group. They end up getting wildly successful. So that was her telling him that, you wouldn't have done that for Quan. You would have been like, okay, I'll be a solo act. That's fine. It's like Quan was a really good friend to you because he could have had the solo career that you wanted. And he tries to pay Clara. He's like, here, get some money. Here's some money. Let's let me up out of here. And she's like, oh yeah, you remember you paid before, huh? So there's a part where he gets accused of statutory rape with a white girl. Of course. And Quan is like, why the fuck would you do that? Why would you do that? And SOD says, I wrote this down because it is so ridiculous. He said, she told me she was 18. There was grass on the field. Anybody would have played. I tell you, fam, that bitch was tight. I even peed on her.
He did say that. So,
clearly he did not ask her how old she was.
At all. And then it was a very awkward because he's talking about, tell me I'm gonna be famous. Like, shut your motherfucking ass. Like, just you're lame ass bitch. I like, ugh.
And Quan gets him out of that. Quan, they smoothed that over. Probably just had to pay her or something like that.
Right, but he's very pissed off about it. Like, he really wants to be done with him at this point.
Yeah, but he's still sticking around with it, It's like, okay, we can do this. So they're about to head over to the studio, and SOD's like, hey, let's run into this convenience store real quick. I want to get some bubblicious. Let's go over here real quick. And Quan, I don't know. Quan is just like, no, we need to head over to the studio. We can get some stuff later. Or there's stuff in the studio.
Yeah, and this is basically SOD's peace offering, like, to him. Like, I'll pay for it, and I want you to know that I'm in this, all that kind of thing. Are stores open like this? Did you notice that there was no door? You don't care that they literally just put up a fucking poster board? Okay.
The food, I should have looked closely at the food. It was probably like printed out and wrapped around a box. So they go up in there. Oh, so SOD wants a beer. He's like, let's get us a drink. And they go into the store, and immediately a robber comes in, and he's like, give me all your loot. And the cashier is like really struggling to get the money. He's, give me all your loot. And Quan is like, hey man, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. And the robber is like, give me your jewels. And Quan's like, fuck no. And then the robber just shoots him in the head immediately.
Like, one and done. Like, very real life. Like, I'm not supposed to argue with you. And
he pops him. Yeah, he pops him in the head, and Quan is gone.
He turns and he shoots SOD in the shoulder.
It runs out. Mm-hmm.
And runs out.
Didn't get any money.
Literally, like I was like, wasn't the point? The rapper you told on yourself. And so yeah, and so the whole movie, that's what SOD has been doing. He's been showing people like, look, it could have been me, like, you know, and that kind of thing.
Like he 50 Cent. So after that video ends, Clara summons a zombified Quan, you know, and then leaves him in the room with SOD. Quan looks ridiculous.
God.
He looks
I was
ridiculous.
actually scared. I was like, oh my God.
And he's like in a joking, be like, I'm here.
It was right. Here. It was giving fucking Beetlejuice.
Thought I wouldn't be here. It was giving.
It was Beetlejuice. Oh, I forgot his quotes.
There's one more video that he makes them watch, and it's a video of the night of the robbery, and he plays it, and he says to SOD, "Why did you have a bulletproof vest on that night?" Again, he thinks he's 50 Cent. You know, why did you? 50 Cent was out by then. Why'd you have a vest on? He's like, "What, you think I set you up? You think I set you up? Why would I do that to you? It just happened like that. It just happened like that." And then there's a knock on the door, and it's his manager that was there a little earlier, and with some more hoochies. And they can't see Quan.
Yeah,
they can't see Quan at all. And he keeps. It was too long. They wasted too much time talking about. You don't see him right there. I'm like, okay, you said you didn't see him the first time. Let's move on.
Yeah, and so that's when we discover that the man under the mask, okay, the hooded felon, the fiend, was this young man right here. So he was the one who shot him. And so
not Quan, SOD's bodyguard.
Yeah. And so Quan is like, oh, well, bitch, let me get my revenge. So he takes some. Well, what are they? They were knives, but what were they for? Was there a cake in there? I was like, what's the knife?
It was for the it was for the charcuterie board.
And so he starts slashing gas, cutting a hole in your ass. I spill blood on the wall and play tennis with your balls. If the phone rings, don't answer the call. I'm gonna slit your throat, fuck you like a goat, peel your foreskin off, and make a winter coat. Peace.
Yo, that was the illest rhyme I ever seen, son.
Can I do it? And so,
wow, you really sounded like him.
And so, he slices and dices him up, and he falls to the floor. Now, of course, at this moment, the hoochies walk in, and they're like, "Oh my God, dead body!" And because they cannot see Quan, and because he has you know, of course, dumb shit. I hate when they do this in movies when somebody drops a murder weapon, they pick the murder weapon up. And so now they're like, oh, well, he stabbed him because he has knives. And so they run, they go get the police. And so this part don't make no damn sense. I don't understand this part. You're going to have to explain.
I think...
Because what kind of Blaze of Glory shit is this?
For him, it's all about his rep. He wouldn't be anybody if they found out that he was the one that got Quan killed. So he's like, well, if I'm going out in the blaze of glory, because he's supposed to be this hood, this hood rat, you know. So he comes out and he immediately starts shooting at the cops,
and kills one of them.
Yeah, kills, and then the cops start shooting, and then cops come in from the other door, and they pop his ass like 25 times.
Like very much so. Queen Latifah set it off. Like tear him up.
When you hear the phrase "gun down," that's what you think. I know he had holes all in his, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the end of that one. I realized we did not score the Scumlord.
Oh shit.
For that one, 3. I didn't really like it.
4, just because they got their revenge. But it was very cringe.
They did.
I like that they got a happy ending. Unlike Posey. And so, and unlike anybody in this story, because nobody got a happy ending in this one, nobody did. And so,
so we have the wraparound, and Devin is there, and in Half Pint, they get the souls of Posey, Tex Jr., Tiffany, and SOD, and they're basically taking them to an elevator or something, and the elevator descends them to hell. And Devin informs the audience, I had to write this down, all 4 individuals had the potential to do good, but instead they chose to do evil for the sake of their own needs. He then warns us to be wary of our own actions, and that be wary of our own actions that ride the line between good and evil. and then he has a 20-minute rap song at the end of the movie. I was like, what the hell is going on? Boom,
Yes.
boom.
Not a hood movie with a message. Yeah, be accountable, people. And so
SOD, I give that one. That was gonna get my highest score, so I'm gonna give that one a 6.
I'll give it a 5.5 because it just didn't. The way they incorporated Snoop Dogg and they came back with it, and then it was flashback. It just, I don't know. It just was more confusing than the other ones. So I'll
Yeah,
give it a
that
five
was.
and a
I
half.
don't know why they did that. That was pretty weird. So all right, for the entire Hood of Horror, I was gonna give it a 5 for the entire thing. It's an easy watch. It is kind of gory, so if you can't handle that, I wouldn't suggest watching it. But yeah, it's fine. It's
Yeah,
not a
it
lot of
is.
screaming. Like I love horror movies, but I hate constant screaming in horror movies. So
Yeah,
if you're like me, you'll be fine watching it. Just
yeah.
something to just you know wasting time.
I'll give it a 6. I thought, because I thought they, like, even with the acting, I thought they were really trying. It's like it felt like they took it seriously, even though it was very ridiculous. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was. Yeah. All right, everybody. So that'll do it for Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror. Please be sure to join us next time when we review Trick or Treat. Yes, that
Trick or
is it.
treat.
I almost forgot. When we review Trick or Treat. Um, yeah, had a good time. Thanks.
Thank you very much, y'all. Join us again.
See ya. Oh,
Scare you later.
where did you hide it, Dan?